So, for example, I learned about this through a support worker, that they just have someone where they go and they sit with that someone and they both fill out their diaries for the week together. And so because one person's doing it, it makes it easier for the ADHD person, to bring their attention to completing the task. And same goes for cleaning their bedroom, or just having a physical person in there with you. They don't even have to do anything.
Yeah.
But having someone there increases your motivation. It was really interesting to see the impact that it had with very little output.
Yeah, I thought it was fantastic. And I thought, even like for myself, when like my mum comes to visit, often I've got, the death pile of laundry on the pool table. So she'll, like mum will help me, or we'll do it together, or mum will just have a cup of tea and chat to me while I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And it makes that chore more fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I have 6 children, and we actually call them the Fold-A-Lot Rangers. So it's Mount Washmore. The Fold-A-Lot, that's what we call them in our house anyway. And so, and that's it. We do it together. And if we do it together, we get it done. I set a timer on the oven for 40 minutes, and whatever's not done in that 40 minutes, they're allowed to just leave. But
I always find Mount Foldmore, you get it done and you fold it, but then it might sit there where people just come to the table, look through the clean washing, pull something out, and it just lives on the table for a little bit more.
My 40 minutes, they've got to have put all their piles away, and I have my kids are 7 to 17, and there's 6 in there. Yeah. And the top 3, I've got to stop calling them the oldest 3 have a buddy. And they do put their washing away, and they put their buddy's washing away, and my husband is my buddy and he puts my washing away.
Oh, so I'm going to do some more research on body doubling,
because it's really interesting.
When you put it like that, it does make more sense. When your mum comes over, you do tend to start doing things because you've had someone there. But if you're on your own, what do you think like the roadblock is to doing things on your own?
See, I don't know, because I wonder if it's like I'm feeling judged by my mum because she's such a great housekeeper. But I'm sure I'm not feeling judged by my mum. I'm sure it's just like, well, I'm chatting to someone. I guess it's kind of like almost
it's the motivation.
Yeah, like, playing Bon Jovi while you clean. Yeah. So maybe it's similar to that. Yeah. I don't know, but I read something similar, and it was such an interesting, and it just made sense. Just like, oh yeah. That really makes sense.
It really does make sense when you put it like that, because I know when my mum comes over, or even my mother-in-law, I get more things done because I feel like she's there watching me. Judging me. No, not really. No.
I love you, Mum.
Yeah. But no, that makes so much sense, and you facilitate that obviously in your group sessions.
Yeah. So like yesterday we had a fantastic group English lesson, and we just got through all the activities so quickly, and because they're all on task, they're all doing the same thing together, so they do a little bit of independent work. Like I'll teach a lesson, and then they like a short one, and then they do independent work, and then we start something new, so we get through lots of different activities in that time. But we got through everything so quickly. I had to quickly find some more activities because everything I planned, they'd finish so quickly.
Do you find, though, sometimes children don't show their ability in the classroom? And I'll use an example of my child with this. In pre-primary now, they're doing a 10-minute timer with maths questions. So you've got a sheet and you've got up to 100 maths questions, and it could be like read a dice. You have to write the number, and you've got 10 minutes. And then you've got your star on the wall. If you got 25 right, you get to put your star on the wall. If you got 50 right, you're in the middle. If you got 100 right, your star's right up the top. You're exceptional. Mm-hmm. And there is one kid that's got up. Most of the kids were in the middle. My kid was down the bottom, and then there were some kids who didn't meet the 25 mark. And I was like, looked at her and went, oh, yep, she did get 25 right, but I really wanted her to be in the middle. And they had given us a sheet to take home. So I thought, all right, I'll just see where she's at. So we did it at home. She easily met the 50, and I was like, oh, okay, nothing to worry about. Do you find that sometimes that is what happens? Kids don't necessarily show what they know in the classroom?
I think so, yeah. I think also working with someone one-on-one is quite different as well. So often I will chat to like their classroom teacher of some of the students that I'm working with, and the stuff that they're displaying at school compared to working with me, it's really different. Mm-hmm. Even down to things like just personality and things as well. So it's really a curious kind of phenomenon.
Well,
Yeah.
I feel like also that relationships are so important. As a teacher, you get more out of a child who you've built a relationship with. And obviously in your tuition groups, there's 6 kids, so you know each of those kids. So when you're in a classroom environment, whilst the teacher genuinely cares and loves all the students in her class, there still is 32 of them. And so to build those relationships does actually take a little bit more time.
Yeah.
And for me personally, having a character-filled child, they know my child very well, but my less character-filled children, they don't get to know them until maybe term 3 of the year, because they haven't really had a need to. They're just kind of ticking along.
Yes, yeah, I think that definitely does happen.
What do you do if you've got a group of 6 and you've got a child that necessarily doesn't perform or has, I'm going to say it nicely, behaviours that you need to
character-filled.
Yeah, character-filled behaviours that you need to target. What kind of strategies do you use?
So over when I was learning to be a teacher and over my career as a teacher, you learn about lots of different behaviour techniques. So a lot of it is setting up the environment so that there's no chance for those behaviours.
Yeah.
And then we call them low-key skills. So things like sitting that child next to you or giving them lots of praise before they've even had a chance to do something.
Yeah.
You know,
or making them a leader or giving them a job.
Giving them a job, stickers, like all of those things. I find that it's not really a problem in our group classes, even though these kids might go to school and have some of those challenging behaviours. I think, you know, this is such a different environment. They don't call me Mrs. Fogg. You know, the kids call me Emily. It's a lot more relaxed. And I think it's just a different environment. We don't really have those problems.
What about sensory tools?
That's what I was just thinking. Like also like in a classroom environment, there's 29 other kids who are making a lot of noise, and sure, some kids are very lucky and can concentrate with lots of noise happening, but other kids maybe need some kind of regulation.
Yeah. So there's actually some really great places that you can go to get some fantastic sensory tools.
Send them a plug.
So the Sensory Collective, I actually did a live with them on Sunday.
Yeah.
So you can go
definitely.
on my either of our Instagrams and have a look and listen, and we talked all about sensory tools. So for kids that you know, saying the classroom's too loud, you can get noise cancelling headphones, and they can wear that in class, and that is really great. A lot of parents are worried, like, oh, my kid's going to, you know, look different.
Yeah.
But we actually use headphones in classes all the time.
Yeah.
We're using technology now. So whenever they're working on the iPad, they usually do have headphones in. So it's not something that I think would be.
And do you think that's the stigma in relation to the parent or the child? Because often the child doesn't know anything different and it doesn't really matter to them. But I know as a parent, you don't want your child to stand out in a crowd for something that you know may be a little bit different to others.
Yeah, I think as the parent, it's definitely not the kids. And you can get some really cool, funky headphones, right? So, and you can put stickers on, you know, you can do all sorts of things. So I don't think it's the kids. I think it's the parents.
Yeah. And I think I don't know if we're at a different stage, but for me, I am trying to encourage my children to advocate for themselves. And if being different means that you are successful, then that's actually a good thing. But it's a
hard thing to teach.
At primary school age, it's not so hard. But in this high school age now, they're trying to speak up for themselves because the classroom's too loud, or it's a lot more difficult for them to be comfortable with being different.
Can I ask, do you think if you instill that at a younger age, it becomes easier as a teenager to go, it's all right, I'm different, I've accepted that, I need to put my needs first before what anyone else expects to me.
But personality as well, the personality of the child is, you know, like I have one kid who quite happily announces to everyone she's a weirdo because being a weirdo is not boring, and that's I think it's interesting.
I love that.
It's something that you something that I've kind of said lots. We don't like with my road rage. My children use my road rage. She comes out and with, you know, I am a weirdo, but it's okay because weirdos aren't boring.
Yeah,
you know, and that's like when people call her a weirdo, she's like, yes, I am, but at least I'm not boring.
Yeah,
for her, she's always been quirky, always been different. It isn't a problem for that child. But I've got other kids who care about being cool.
I do feel like there's a change in behaviour now for especially young people to know that different actually does make you stand out.
Yeah.
And to be considered in the box normal.
Oh, don't be boring.
Is a place where you actually don't want to be. You're not going to stand out if you're the same as everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there are still those children that don't want to be recognised, that just want to be in that box, and just go, I'm quite shy and I just want to be not recognised.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And there's a lot of there's still that stigma around being diagnosed with anything.
Yeah.
Like I will often have people.
Do you think it's the stigma around the person or around the parents?
I think it's the parents that have that issue. Like I'll have parents call me and be like, I don't want to get them diagnosed. I don't want them to have a label. I don't want to give my kids medication.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to tell them that they've got, or that maybe they have got the diagnosis, but I don't want to tell them. And I'm like, why? That's like if you had a broken leg and nobody told you had a broken leg. Like, I think it's neurodiversity is something to be proud of. Like it's
celebrated.
Look at us, the jigs.
So I think we need to change that conversation.
But I think it is changing. I think it's changing amongst the kids because even in my teenagers, I hear their conversations.
Yeah.
And I have an older daughter who actually teaches dance, and she says, I think I have a neurodiverse child in my class, and the parent is really concerned about her activities in the class. And it's really interesting to see, one, that as a 17-year-old, she can identify that in someone else, but she can identify that the problem isn't the child or the child's behaviour. The problem is the parent desperately wanting their kid to fit in.
Yeah.
I think that maybe as adults we need to just let people be who they are, because I think we don't do that enough, and then we think of things like labels. I know someone who has a child and has never told their child that they have a diagnosis.
Yeah.
I know someone who refuses to medicate their kid, and that absolutely no judgment. You do you. But my feelings are when the kid starts realising that they're different and not being able to explain or understand why they're different and not being able to get the help that they need, then it's not a matter of the parents having a choice. It's a matter of attempting to empower your child so that they can get the most success. Like a label brings you support.
Yeah. I think it's important to know, maybe why you have some struggles, but also why you have some really good strengths as well.
And they are. Like, there is so many amazing strengths that come with neurodiversity that people seem to forget. Or they say, is your kid like Rain Man? Can they count cards? That is our adults' understanding of diagnosis is that, I know a person with autism, or my cousin's like that. And you've heard one person with autism.
If you've met one person with autism, you've met one person with autism. Everybody's different. What I hear the conversation is, it's actually parents that need more support in this kind of area, and they need to be able to find groups of people where people have lived experience and maybe come out of the other side and already have learnt some lessons, because it can be hard when your child is diagnosed with someone to find the support that you're looking for, and often you might be one of 30 other people in the class and you're one. You're not looking at a huge support group there within your school. How do you think it would be good for schools to be able to offer, that parent amongst all of those, for someone else to go to, that small support group within the education system that you can go, oh, I'm not alone, or that person's in year 6 and look at them grow.
Yeah. I think that's really important, and there are organisations that do offer that. Like I used to work for the Autism Association of WA, and they had fantastic support for parents who are going through that diagnostic process. So you can even contact them, even if you're just concerned that your child maybe is autistic, and they can put you in touch with some support groups and some support as well around that process, because it is a challenging process if you've been through it,
and it's a grieving process as well, and that's okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I think there are lots of things out there, but maybe they need to be more accessible and more of them,
or people need to be less proud and just go to them. Do you know, like with one of my children, I got told that my children didn't deserve a diagnosis, that I needed parenting classes. Oh, it's all right.
God.
Oh, God. So I went to parenting classes, and in those parenting classes I realised, well, my child actually really needs a diagnosis. So it empowered me to fight more for that child. Yeah. But it was very interesting what I learnt in those classes, because it gave me an opportunity to understand what my child was experiencing and why they maybe weren't settling and comfortable in their school environment.
Yeah.
And what would you offer advice to someone whose child is not settling? Because I think sometimes that can be the first kind of hiccup or, the block in the road when you hit education, and it can start at kindy.
Yes.
Separation anxiety, things like that.
Yeah.
When your child isn't settling in the classroom, what would your kind of advice be?
My advice would be to meet with their teacher and chat with them as a first step, and then maybe go and see your GP, especially if it's getting to the point where it's like school refusal.
Yeah.
Chat to your GP, see if you can get a referral to pediatrician or a child psychologist. I know that's really it can be hard to get in at the moment.
Just changed, and I don't know if you saw.
Yeah,
but absolutely,
it's
so important.
Yeah.
Even if like at a really young age.
Yeah.
If you have an inkling of a concern now in kindy, 3-year-old,
Yeah.
get on the list now, because you can always say no thank you when your name finally comes up.
Absolutely.
Sorry, I interrupted you, Emily.
18 months later.
Yeah.
You can say no thank you, but if there's a little concern, just get on the list.
Yeah, that's what I say to everybody. Lots of people, so just take that advice. Just get on the list, because you don't want to wait, 18 months, 2 years, and then you have to wait another 18 months to get seen. So, and early intervention is just
so
key.
Helpful.
Yeah.
We actually were in touch with, and you can remind me of this lady's name, CCK, which is
Connecting Community for Kids. Oh, that would be awesome information for you. They do it's an Aboriginal word and I've forgotten it now, and it's all about, they have specialists come into one space, and it's if parents have concerns about their child and are on waiting list or can't get in to see a specialist, you go to this morning and you meet with a series of specialists who give you tips before you can access early intervention.
Strategies to be able to deal with behaviours that you may not have, you may be 18 months on a waiting list, but they're like, here, if you want to offer support now, this is what I would do.
Yeah.
And I think that is such crucial advice, because parents are sorting it, especially if you're just waiting for an appointment and not gaining, it's not that solving the problems, but you're not helping your child, go to school in the school environment and be relaxed. And some of these behaviours don't happen in kindy. They can start in year 3.
Yeah, that's
and
it.
Things like that. They don't necessarily have to start at kindy.
Yeah, they can pop up, throughout their schooling. But I think that's really nice about what we do, is that it doesn't matter if the kids have a diagnosis or not. What we do works for those kids anyway. So they're already getting what they need. Yeah.
So you're not basing it on a diagnosis, you're basing it on the fact that the children are individuals and everyone learns differently.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit more about where people can access your support. My child didn't necessarily meet the standards for maths this year, and I'm seeking support. Wise Our Tuition. You can contact them on Facebook, Instagram, website.
Yes.
What's the process from there?
So you can book a call with me. You can send me an email or a DM, and I'll get back to you and we can have a chat. And then I'll send you all that information. The best way is to have a phone call, I think, and just have a chat about what's going on, and then we can work out our plan from there.
Yeah. And where are your groups run?
So we run them in Kwinana and Baldivis, but I also do online lessons as well.
Yep.
So there's, even if you're not close by, if we can sort out something for you. And and I'm doing Eastern States lessons starting next term.
Oh wow! Look at you go! You are just expanding. I love
you.
that you just want kids to do well.
Yeah.
Well, and this is why
I was trying to segue.
Great segue into the fact that you have just been nominated for a pretty significant award. And do you want to tell us a little bit more about that?
Thank you. Yeah. So I was nominated in the Ausmumpreneur Awards, which is a national award for mums in business, and there was quite a few entries, and I was lucky enough to be a finalist in the children's education business.
I don't think luck had anything to do with it.
Yeah,
I think that hard work had a lot to do with it, Emily.
Yeah, so I had to write an application, so I put that in, and so I was chosen as one of the 10 finalists. And then in the last week of the holidays, I did an interview with a panel of judges, and so I will find out in August if I'm a winner or a runner-up. and I'm actually going to Sydney for the awards with a friend. So
that's
I'm really
exciting.
looking forward to that.
Now, have you got a frock picked out?
I do.
You do
yes.
need a frock.
Need a
too,
frock? Is
yeah.
it sparkly?
It is. It is
Oh,
blue.
love it.
It's all a sequins. So
I love that.
I can tell you, I've watched a lot of women go over to the Osmumpreneurs. Karen McDermott has been a long-standing, not only supporter, winner of the Osmumpreneur Awards, but now she's also a part of the judging panel. And
Okay,
it
we'll
is
talk to
such
Karen for you. Wink, wink.
yeah, it is an incredible platform for you to be celebrated on. But all the women, whether you win or you're a finalist, I love the way that they bring a community together, and you learn so much from these awards. So congratulations!
Thank
this is
you.
going to be amazing, and we're going to have to follow you on your journey there.
Yeah.
And we're going to keep everything crossed. Is it voting?
There is a voting section, but so there's a people's choice.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% how that works. It hasn't been released yet, the information, but I'll let you know if you can vote for me.
Absolutely.
Please do.
I'll be asking everyone to.
Yeah.
And yeah, so otherwise it's judged. So yes,
Oh, well done you.
thank you.
And I just want to get onto there's another little thing that's happening with you, because you don't stop. You're just like go, go, go. And you've seen another avenue that you want to kind of expand on and grow with the incredible Sally Newman. Can you tell us a little bit more about maybe what's going to happen in the future?
Yes, so we are launching a new business called Capability Network. And it's going to be a network for businesses and individuals who either have a disability or provide a service or product for people with disabilities or employ people with disability, and just a way to network with others, to learn, to get training, to share with each other best practice. And also our first event is going to be at awards. So we will be running those. The information will be coming out on the 1st of August, and the awards will be in December. But the idea was Sally and I were chatting about awards and the disability sector, and there's not much out there. So we thought, why not make our own?
And there's a lot to be
Yeah,
celebrated
great.
in that
Yes.
section, isn't there?
And I think also that it's a lot harder fought
Yeah.
to be able to be eligible for an award, because you have to go through so much more to achieve the same thing as someone who maybe doesn't have the same disability as you.
Yeah.
This is exciting.
I'm so
and the
excited.
fact that it's going to be happening in Rockingham,
Yes.
and you'll probably find that this will be recognised all through WA. People will go, actually, I'm working really hard in the disability sector,
Yeah.
and I want to be recognised because they deserve to be recognised.
And
Here's a place where you can be recognised, but not only pooling those communities together so that we can support one another, not only that, learn from one another and things like that, because you don't know what you don't know.
That's
And
exactly
coming to an
right.
event like this, you will open your mind to so many other opportunities in the disability sector. And congratulations.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh,
Yeah.
thanks.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Now, I will ask, will Sally and you come in and talk about this maybe next week or the
Oh,
week after? I know
please,
Sally's got a lot going on as well that we want to talk about.
Should we have to do
we
it
would
after
love
the
to.
1st of August? 'Cause
Yeah.
that's when it's all being announced.
Well, yes.
That's
Well,
next
maybe
week.
Thursday next week.
Yeah,
if you're free.
Thursday next week.
Yeah.
Let's book that
I
in.
can't wait.
That'd be great.
Have you met Sally before?
Do you know what? I haven't met Sally in person, I don't think, but she's crossed paths with a lot of people that I cross paths with. So I've seen her in a lot of places.
Get ready for an
Yeah.
explosion of personality.
Oh,
Yeah.
like every one of my
She-
children.
Yeah, she's an incredible person.
She
She
is.
was the MC of the Rockingham Charity Gala, and funny, oh my
Mhm.
God, she had a lot of people in stitches, and she's just got this really bubbly personality, which is almost magnetic to people. People are actually drawn to her and want to have conversations, which
Absolutely.
makes this really amazing.
Yes.
Really, really amazing. And she has something else going on, which I know that you're going to love. It's right actually down your alley, right down your alley. So, yeah, looking forward to
cool,
talking to
cool.
that. Emily, as always, Wise Our Tuition, give them a shout out. Tell people how they can contact you.
Okay, so you can jump on our website, which is wiseourtuition.com, or send me an email, info@wiseourtuition.com, or jump on any of our social media. If you type in Wise Our Tuition on Google, we'll be up there. We'll be first.
And
So
it's WISE.
WISE. Yep.
Wise Our Tuition. Give them a call on Facebook. You can call on Facebook, can't you? No.
Yeah, I don't know.
Message.
Yeah, send a message.
Instagram, those types of things.
Yeah.
Emily will help you out. We're going to listen to a little bit of music now. Have a drink of water.
Oh, yeah.
Proudly brought in. And, stay tuned on the Jess Address.
Thank you.